In this second lesson on figuring out your focus, we will discuss tiered account management. One thing to consider when segmenting your accounts and stratifying them is to think about actual versus potential and what this might look like for you. Let's say you have an account worth $30,000 a year, and you've penetrated 10 locations out of 100. The potential may be for $250,000 just by closing the rest of these locations. This could be seats or ad budget or whatever is appropriate for your particular organization. If that's the case, you may want to start treating this account like they are at the higher tier, treating it like a 6-figure account instead of a 5-figure account. This is about investing to get to the next level for those accounts that have the potential to do it. To tier an account management process, you need to build out your master process, and we will go through building out your process for each cadence in detail over the next several weeks. But you need to evaluate the things you already do, the things that make up the one-time tasks or the weekly, monthly, and quarterly cadences. You need to mold the master process flow to fit your organization. But you should start simple and layer in complexity over time. Think very carefully about what you do today and the costs associated with completing and performing those tasks. And you may want to add things in over time. It's much easier to add a process to a customer than it is to reduce or remove something that a customer has become accustomed to. And yet, we need to remove things from the master process. As I've said, it's hard to reduce quality once a customer is used to it. Rather, this is about taking your master process and removing things from them based upon the different account tiers. It's much easier to have a perfect path and remove things depending on account structures than to create wholly different unique paths for each client. I worked with one of my clients and we built out a master process for their company. We determined the process only made sense for them for accounts that were worth more than $100,000 per year. Instead of starting from scratch on the new tiers, we evaluated the time each step took and how much we needed to remove to make the process feasible for each of the different tiers of clients. We decided the clients that were worth less than $10,000 a year and unlikely to scale beyond that got an extremely slimmed down version, and it was essentially just automated reporting without human intervention. So how do you do this? You do this with a cheat sheet on segmenting your customers. You're going to map out the best service solution delivery that you can have for your clients. You're going to do a cost estimate for this delivery. You're going to determine what the account looks like or might look like and try to justify which of the tiers they might be a part of. You're going to strip out or reduce the steps for accounts that cannot justify the expense. You're going to consciously understand the cost of delivery for account management and make it a sales and marketing expense to be managed, just like advertising is for new client acquisition. For each cadence, you're going to list out the processes and tasks. Next, you're going to evaluate each task. Then you're going to sum them up and evaluate each process. When you do that, consider which task could be removed from the process. Consider which task could be reduced in quality. Then you're going to summarize the cost of each process for that cadence. You're going to consider if a whole process could be removed for a particular cadence based upon the client's tier. Note, for one-time tasks, there should be a payment associated with it, just like an onboarding fee. This might vary depending on the account size, just like everything else. After you do all this, you're going to visually map out the cadence structure and tiers for your accounts, as well as your accounts on that map. You're going to reevaluate your profit margin and determine the appropriate tasks and processes that can be or should be removed as you jump down tiers from gold to silver or bronze. If you're going to start investing into your existing accounts, you have to be cognizant of your profit margins and manage those investments. The nice thing about taking this process and removing steps is if an account does happen to transition from bronze to silver, you can add in that next layer to them and they will recognize getting a deeper level of service. And if somebody transitions from silver to gold, they will recognize that they've crossed a threshold and that they've started to get a higher level of service from you. I implore you to consciously think through this whole process. Think about what can be cut. Think about what can be trimmed or how it could be changed for different levels of profitability and effort. The flip side is, think about how your clients will feel if they jump from one tier to the other. Will they be getting enough of a service bump that they can recognize and appreciate it? This is the process. Thank you, and have a nice day.